Now, from our last session, where we have to query our data, because one of the properties or function of database is to query or get reports from the database. Now, we have two records here. We have the class record. We have added already. We have the student record. Now, let's query the database using the class ID to know. Let's say we have the populated data already. Here, check. You have the populated data already. You have everything. But you as a database manager, you want to check only students that are in JSS1. Exactly. You want to check the record and you don't want the gender, you don't want the age, you only want the last name, first name, and their gender. You only want the last name, first name, and gender. We have the student ID here. We don't want the student ID. We just want the last name, first name, and the gender. The next thing is to create a report. Just go to the create, choose the query design. Then you have a dialog box like this. Check it, check what you need. You want the class record, add it. You want the student record, add it. Then you can see that there's a linkage because there's the class ID here, the primary key here, was here, it's a foreign key. Now let's add the fields we want. We want the what? The last name field. Can you see here we have this? If you look at this place, this property tab, we have the class record. This class dot star means everything in the class record you should display it. Star, when you have star in any programming or querying or database stuff, it means all. Now look at it, class record, we have class ID. Is that not so? We have class ID and class name. That's all we have in the class record. Now followed by the student's record. All means everything the student record should give you. Now we don't want everything, we will only want the last name. You can see that the show here is show, it is ticked. Once you untick it, that means it should not show it. Show means you want it. Then the next one, want the first name, show it. Then once the, what do you want again? We want the gender. Okay, let's say we want the gender. We don't need the, let's say we need the gender. We don't need the age. So far, maybe the person is 15, 16. We don't want. Let's say we only need the last name, first name, and the gender. Let's say the gender. Then on which criteria do we want to query the database? Is it through the class or what? Or the student ID? Let's say through the class. If you say student ID, we only have one ID, which is the primary key. And when you have in the database, we already say that in the database where you have a primary key, the primary key must be unique. But when you have a foreign key, the foreign key might be, you might have, when you have a foreign key in the database, you might have multiple data of that foreign key. Let's use as an example. In student record, if you look at this class ID, the foreign key, we have C002, we have C001 appearing twice here, we have C006 appearing 4 times here. Student 3 is the next 3, 006, 006, student 6, 006, student 10, 006, student 11. Can you see that there's a foreign key? But in the primary key, you can't have the same data. If we here now, if you write, if you repeat this std002, it will throw you an error that you already have that in the database. That's why you're having 002 again. That's an issue. So it won't compute your data for you. Then there will be an error. Now let's go back to where we have the data. Now we have to save the query. Save it. Let's save it. Control S. Give it a name. Let's just say query data. Query by query by class ID. Let's save. Now, what are we querying this by? Class ID. From where? From where? You can either use this class record class ID because it's a primary key. Is that clear? Now let's use that. Or you use this, any of these two, because they are related. Is a primary key here, but in this place is a foreign key. Is that clear now? Let's use this. Any of the two, you can use it. Then you click. It's not going to. It's going to show it. But if you don't want to show the class ID, you can just omit it and just use the criteria option here. To use the criteria option, this criteria option is where the user will enter a certain ID. But if you want that ID, that class ID to show, you can also check it to show. But if you don't want it to show, you can uncheck it. Is that clear now? Now let's show the class ID also. Now let's enter it. To prompt a user to enter a data or a certain number, you have to use the curly bracket, the square bracket. You now give the prompt enter class ID colon, and you close the square bracket, and you save. Once you save it, click on run. You click on run. Let's check the SQL view first. This is the SQL view. Let's go back to the design view. Then you click on run. Now you click on run. This select this run. You click on run. Can you see? It's telling us enter class ID because the criteria is here already here that you enter the class what ID. What's the class ID? Let's give a sample class 006. I want to know the first, the last name, the first name, gender of two students. Okay, can you see? Instead of giving us all everything in the table, we are only having Okoro, the first person, the second person is Owade, Olasheni, and Olubiri Isaac. As the what? Those in SS3. And if you check the database, this file, SS3 C006. Can you see now? This is how to query the data. And also, let me teach you this also. To get a calculated value, let's have a different table. Let's have a different table. Create table. Let's say we want a new design. This is the table here. Design view. Give it a table name. Calculated value. Just for you to know how to do that also. Now let's say you don't have a primary key. We don't need the primary key here for now. Let's remove that. Let's say we want to check the sales rate. We want this. Let's say for example, we want the sales amount and quantity. We want the sales quantity, sales rate, and sales amount. Sales quantity, sales rate, sales amount. Sales quantity, sales quantity. Maybe you are an accountant. Sales quantity, quantity could be 1, 2. You have to know that type first. Quantity could be 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be 20. So it should be number. Now, sales rate. Sales rate. That's the unit price of one item. Sales rate. Sales rate. Sales. Sales. Or let's say sale rate. Sale rate. You can see how the field name is named. No space. So rate also will be number. Then let's say sales amount. Sales amount. Sales amount. Sales amount. Sales amount. Sales amount. Here we have the sales amount. Sales sale amount. Let's just use sale amount. Oh, let's use sales amount. Sales. 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 So this one also will be this will be currency. Is that clear? Currency. But because in as a database management manager, there's what we call calculated data type, whereby when you have a two value, when you have two value, and you get the calculated value of this. To get calculated, to use the instead of entering, since you if you know the quantity, let's say you have the quantity, sales quantity is 2, and the sales rate is 50 naira. Let's say for example 50 naira. Hmm? Sales rate, okay, this one should be currency, not number, because sales rate per it should be currency. So let's say and this one is 50 naira, for instance, 50 naira. So 50 times 2, that will be 100. So automatically this will be 100. You will not be the one to type 100. Exactly. Now here you just write, come here and write and click calculated. There will be a dialog box here. This is what you do. You come here under, okay, we have to save it first. Save it. Save it. We have to save it. It says a calculated column cannot be saved without a valid expression. Okay. Errors were encountered during the save option. You have to do that first. Calculated number can be saved unless we give the value. Now here, sales quantity, sales quantity we should have other expression category here, not only sales quantity. That is one issue. Under this calculated value, you should have quantity, sales quantity, and other things here. So let's do it like this. Let's do it this way. Let's delete this first. Delete row. Let's save it. Now let's go to the datasheet view. Datasheet view. So we have two column here already. Sales rate and quantity. Cool. This is where the issue lies in. Because the sales rate is in currency. That is the reason we can't multiply. That is the reason we cannot multiply. So the sales rate should be, it should be currency. But why? Once we are having that issue, let's retry. Let's retry. It should be currency. Let's retry. Go back to the design view, because we should have it here. Sales amount, sales amount, then here calculated, because currency is the best. This is what I want. Can you see now? We have the sales rate and the sales quantity here. So you need this extraction element. This calculated value is what we need, which is the what? Sales amount. Is that clear? Now you need these operators here to know what do you want. which are the basic arithmetic multiplication, and you know when you want to know the sales amount, that will be what? Sales rate times sales quantity. What you could do is come here, click on sales quantity, you can double click it. Is that clear? When you double click it, it appears here. Then you come to operator to avoid error. Click on arithmetic and use this. Double click. Can you see? Go back to this calculated value. Click the sales rate also. Double click. Then you click OK. Can you see now? We can't have any error again. Then you save. That's clear. Now, after saving it, come back to the datasheet view. Insert a value here now. Let's say for instance, we say quantity, sales quantity. In, in this case, because we are not working, I'm just giving you a preamble of how calculated values do work. In a good database system, you must have a quantity or a sales ID. Exactly. You need a sales ID to make a database unique, to make each record unique. Is that clear now? So in this case, we don't have sales ID. If it is important you have a sales ID. Now let's say we have a quantity of 20 quantity of a product and the sales rate is 1,000 naira or 1,000 per quantity. 1,000 quantity. So this will be calculated automatically. You see that it automatically calculates the value. Now let's say here now we have a quantity of 5 and the product is $100, and enter, you get the value automatically without stress. That is how calculated value work. Then you would be given a question in our next class. You would be you'll be working on a certain question. This question will be an external question related. That is, this is the type of question you'll be seeing in your NECO or WAEC practical exam. So in our next class, we will be working on a real life question, on a real life or real time project, whereby you would answer a Microsoft Access question related practical.